What are you doing? You're hurting me! You're hurting me!
Well, that didn't go as planned. Let's back up a bit, huh? This is transgender lawyer Rob Hopkins in Oklahoma. Things in the courtroom are a little testy because Rob's client did not show up for court. So let's watch the tension build to a fever pitch.
I don't think there's any need in going forward today.
We were back to the issue at hand, which was you asked me to not provide testimony on behalf of my client. You asked me what paragraph it was. I pointed you to the exact paragraph.
Stop.
It's her education.
Stop.
Stop because you don't want to hear what the argument is.
Stop. You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
wipe that smirk off.
I don't have a
your face.
smirk on my face.
Oh, yes, you do.
I do not.
I am not going to tolerate this from you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. There was a pause. There was a break. I wasn't done with my argument.
And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again. Do not throw your...
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
Sir, you've got a room full of witnesses.
I do. I put it down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall.
Then settle down.
I'm not upset and I'm not arguing. You're not letting me make an argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not.
Stop. Our court reporter cannot get what we're both saying.
I am trying to make my argument. You interrupted my argument halfway through.
This
on
is
an
a panic
objection.
button that will get every available deputy in
Yes,
front of
ma'am. I'm
County.
aware. It's happened to
You're
me before.
interrupting. It has.
Yes.
Because you're out of line
Yeah,
with court.
I guess so.
Okay. If I push that
Or maybe
button,
because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state.
I don't know what you are.
You do, ma'am. It's not that you do.
So we are pausing this until you get the ADA request form filled out and it gets processed.
So we're going to pause the hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice. I drove an hour and a half to have the hearing. My client's available telephonically, and we are simply not even taking testimony.
Is your client available telephonically?
Yes, ma'am.
today?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Your Honor, to which we would object. This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant or stealing
Objection, you're saying that's not true. And you're ready
You
to
will find, sir,
Don't
that
put at me and stare me or shout at me.
I'm not putting it on there.
No, we're stopping.
Get out of my face,
I've been doing it for a
sir.
long
Get out of
time.
my face, sir.
You may step
Get
out.
out of my face.
You should leave this county.
Get out of my face. Get out of my
These
face.
people are my friends, and you're being ugly.
And get out of my face.
Put your hands behind your back.
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court. and
He shouted at me. No, I'm not being, you did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
No, I'm not
Judge,
doing
I
nice stuff.
apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person.
Ma'am,
The
excuse me.
screaming and the yelling in court, I've never even heard that before in this courtroom.
Wait.
Do not hurt me. Do not hurt me.
Put your hands behind your back.
Do not. Are you throwing me over
Stop
this?
resisting.
I'm not resisting.
Okay, put your hands behind your back, stop resisting.
You know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you all walk that way so you can...
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
Just stop, settle down, walk that way.
Go.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not grab me. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me. You're hurting me. You just take me. You just take me. Don't give me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind your
I
back.
cannot breathe.
He can talk, but he can't breathe.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Wow. He sure can act. I thought he couldn't breathe.
I would run. Please. Please. Please.
Legs are secure.
Ow. 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 Ow.
That's what.
Somebody call 911. I don't. Get a female officer now. Get a female officer now. Get a female officer
There
now.
aren't any.
I thought he wanted to be a man.
I can't get up. I can't see. He just threw my glasses. I can't see. Give me my glasses.
They're being.
Put them on my face.
No.
Put them on my face. I cannot see.
No.
Please give me my glasses. I cannot see. I'm not trying to walk and I cannot see. I need my wallet.
First of all, I just want to say we can certainly dispel with all the myths that resisting arrest and the complications that come from that, being thrown down and handcuffed and all that is clearly not Black. It is
Come on.
heterosexual. So we can let that go. We see now that anybody who acts in this manner faces consequences. But the other thing is the ugly head of George Floyd and posthumously reared his ugly head is another one who can't breathe while talking.
Mm-hmm.
Never been done before, because people who really can't breathe can't talk.
Can't talk.
They definitely can't
That's the way it
yell.
works.
They definitely can't yell. So what kind of miracle these people keep
Wow.
coming across where they can't breathe, but they're in full voice to be able to yell is somewhat amazing. And we see that in the beginning, we were in some kind of intersectional battle. I was like, what is this? Is this the Jets and who's, what side of it? It was the woman and she's pointing her finger at the judge. And then I guess he's an attorney because he had a client who wasn't there. And I said, oh my God, this is just chaos. Nobody here seems like they have a handle on what's going on. And I will say this, I think this is what happens when you just have liberals who've been in charge for a long time. Because unfortunately, I'm not a scientist. I'm not able to say whether or not transgenderism is mental illness. I mean, those are for people far more qualified than I am. But certainly between him and the judge, neither one of them seemed at all grounded or able to de-escalate or not push their own personal feelings and be able to pursue the law dispassionately. Everybody came to this meeting full of passion and entitlement and victimization. He couldn't wait to throw out because I'm a transgender, and then he needed a female police to do what?
Wow.
Wrestle your big self down to the ground? No.
Wow.
I was a female deputy in that courtroom, I would have refused. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. That man is. I'm not. I can't even get two arms around him. Go get the foul guy. Let him wrestle him down. This is why I'm not qualified.
Janitor.
They would know I couldn't make it at the application because as soon as they would say, I'd be like, no. Can't somebody else go? I'd be looking around. That is not my ministry. So I feel like really when you have people who have been encouraged to walk with their grievance, some of it made up, some of it not real, on their sleeve, and you need them to actually accomplish a task, it is much harder to do with these type people because they bring to every task, every audience, every ask, all of the drama that goes on inside of them. They are looking for a place to publicly deposit it. And unfortunately, we, the citizens, have become the place where all of this angst and maybe mental illness and dissatisfaction with yourself and your life and your inability to achieve the things that you want to achieve. The judge, I've said all the time, I think many women are so unhappy and so riddled with anxiety because of they're angry that they cannot fulfill the promise of feminism, which is that to make them feel the way they believe men feel. They, much as they try, and no matter what type of positions they hold, they are angry because they never can quite get there. And the reason they can't quite get there is because they're not men. Similarly to the gentleman here, or I don't know, whatever he is here,
The judge didn't know either.
whatever he wants to be, okay? But similarly, all of that anxiety and angst is often about not being able to achieve what it is you want to achieve. But the fact of the matter is that has to be a horrible, horrible way to go through life, because every day there's something you want that you cannot have. I wouldn't wish that on the worst enemy, to be in perpetual failure. There's no way out of it. That is a horrible existence for which we should all have great compassion.
Yes.
What we should not have is tolerance of this type of behavior in our courtroom. Send all them people out, that whole crew out, and start fresh.
Absolutely. It reminded me of that meme that gets played every now and again on certain videos. You're a victim. That's all that I seen right there. You're a victim.
Well, first of all, apparently there must have been some history between the judge and that attorney. So the way they were talking, they've had it out before. But I do want to point out that this is a good example of the confusion that exists within the transgender community. When you do not know who you are, and when you try to be something that you're not going to be a happy person. No matter how much they put on and act, there's a very serious psychological and spiritual imbalance that always comes out, and it's seen because remember, they have to force you to accept them for what they say they are rather than what they are. And if you refuse to do it or don't give them the kind of response that they want, it automatically sets them off. They become automatically unstable and insecure, and then they feel like the need to punish you for not recognizing them for who they are. Now, even when they're being contradictory. Now, remember, she's a lady pretending to be a man, but when the men starts roughing her up, she wants a woman. So what's it going to be? But then, like she said, why they're good at playing both sides. They see it whenever it's convenient, they'll be the woman, but as long as they can get over, they'll get over. I think that, as Sister Celeste said, we have to give them a great deal of compassion, but compassion does not mean consent. It does not mean
conform.
Or conform.
Tolerance,
That's right. You cannot, because you cannot help them by approving what they're doing. You cannot help them by going along with what they're doing. That only hurts. It only makes it worse, even though they may see it as being helpful to them. So I'm glad that you showed the video, though, because this goes on every day among them. It's out there. Many of the shooters out there are transgender people. They're killing people left and right, and the media is trying to cover up because they don't want that to be known. Sometimes they'll try to avoid even telling you what the kind of person it was. But the drugs that these people are taking is adding to the confusion. The drugs that are making them more psychotic rather than helping them out. So I'm just saying that that's a whole section that needs to be dealt with more by the church. The church needs to be more vocal about this. We need to provide more open ministry to these people, to show them the love of God, but also to show them that we're not going to let them walk over us and use their condition to discredit God and the church. Because that's what has happened many times when in their company, they punk us and make us feel like we're doing something wrong by recognizing the truth about them. I can love you and tell you the truth. I can't love you if I tell you a lie.
I don't know if you guys saw it. There's a video going around of a mom. Her daughter was going to a restroom, and there was this guy dressed up as a woman. Looked like he could have been 6'3", 6'4". I mean, big dude. And he was trying to go into the restroom with this woman's daughter, and she basically was like tussling with him outside, like, no, you're not going in here, not with my child up in here.
Amazing.
Would not let it happen. And of course, somebody had to pull it out and start video and things of that nature. But I mean, it's a mess, man.
I really feel like that woman is cosplaying as a gay man. Let's just be real, 100%, because the behavior was very, very feminine. There was nothing she was not carrying herself even remotely close to being a man. And the thing is, within that community, a lot of times they are so exaggerated. As Celeste said, and I have said this so many times, I said this is why they changed the makeup industry and all that stuff, so that men that look like that are trying to be women will look the same way like the natural women today, because they put on all this heavy makeup, all this prosthetics, they're doing all this extra stuff. So the back in the day, the 90s natural type of female is not good anymore, because you can't equate those two to that the trans woman and the natural woman together, because you can see the difference back then. But today, it is very hard for men to see the difference, because these women are the biological women and the trans women look basically the same, right? And so what you see is they are very exaggerated. And that man, that woman, I'm sorry. I'm always gonna be a Christian first. I'm gonna call her what she is. That woman,
Amen. That's right. You
was
can never be a man.
exaggerated, because she was trying her best to be a man. She was trying to portray a man, but as much as she was trying to portray a man, those hormones, that feminine energy, that femininity was coming out. The emotionalism, the excuse me, Judge, there was no bass in her voice. There was no bass. Get an attitude. I don't usually see men throw their phone when they have an attitude. Like she was throwing phones like a little girl. Like she was doing the most, but then trying to pretend that she's a man. And then, as we all pointed out, the minute the men were like, "All right, we're gonna hem you up.
Want to be a man?
This thing of rest." Wait, hold on. Where all that high pitch come from in your voice now? Where'd that come from? The devil is the author of confusion, and I feel so bad for these people, because they don't understand that is their father. When they're moving in that space, that is their father, and we pray for them. We want them to come out of that mess. Come out. I have actually met people who they have been detransitioning, and I have been being the person just trying to encourage them as they are coming, because of course, natural human society will be kind of judging them when they're trying to walk into churches and looking. And I'm like, no, you hold your head up high, because you are now coming back, and the Lord sees you. It doesn't matter what everybody else is saying. God sees you, and he sees that you are trying to get back to how he originally made you. You walk in there with your head held up high, knowing that God sees you. Don't worry about what everybody else says. So we have to find a way to be there especially when they are trying to come back into the fold. But listen, on the other side, I'm gonna call it out, because you ain't gonna be sitting down there with a whole beard and a high-pitched voice, and then trying to say your name is Robert, but you throwing your phone like your name is Rhonda. We're not doing that. I'm not playing that game. Okay, we're not playing that. And I agree with Celeste. There was because of that, ungodly women, a lot of women, that feminine energy. There's usually a lot of cattiness. There's the I'm going to be on top. I'm going to be on top. And so in that instance, what you were seeing was the judges saying, "This is my courtroom. I'm gonna be on top." While the attorney was like, "You're just picking on me because you know I'm a transgender." So now it's going to be a whole battle between them, and that feminine cattiness was raising up. That's what y'all were seeing. Even though you were trying to be masculine, that feminine cattiness started coming out of her. And that's why she was being combative, and then turns around and then full on feminine cattiness when the man was saying, "You need to you can't interrupt when I'm giving my objection." And she's like, "Get out my face, get out my face." You saw that feminine cattiness come out. I saw a lady do this in Brazil, and I know some people may find it offensive, but whatever. She put on brown makeup, and she said, "Just like me putting on brown makeup does not make me black." She said, "You putting on makeup, high heel shoes, and a wig, even if you remove your body parts, that still does not make you a woman."
Well, it doesn't.
That doesn't make you a woman. And you cutting off the different parts does not make you a man, regardless of what you try to do. It does not make you a man, because you will always tell on yourself, and that woman told on herself.
Amen. Sure.
Absolutely. I didn't see anything masculine, to be honest with you. I saw all feminine.
I saw a beard.
Yeah, well, I saw the beard. I'm talking about behavior wise. Behavior wise.
Amen.
AT, I'll give you the last word on this, and we'll keep it moving.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I want to say this part first. This is for every Christian down there. You would not call me a monkey, right? You wouldn't call me a monkey. Ask yourself why. I mean, it's a racist statement, it's but why? Because I'm not a monkey. So, Minister Danzel, if I make a mistake and slip up, that is a woman. I love that individual. So I'm going to call them a woman because I don't want you calling me a monkey. All right. I'm not going to adopt this mentality because we're seeing right here in this video the results of tolerance for something that is wrong.
Right.
This is a young lady, right? You can dress up yourself however you want to. You are still going to be a young lady. Now, when you see something like this, you have to ask two questions. You have to, one, address the behavior, and then you have to ask, where does this behavior come from? If not, we're not going to get to the solution. And this is wild, y'all. It's public service announcement. If there's ever anywhere in the United States of America where you need to respect authority and shut up, it is in a court room. I mean, prison is better than that. Getting arrested, you have more latitude, but in a courtroom, you are literally never going to win that conversation. There's nothing you can do. But when I listen to, here's a couple things that we heard, right? Y'all address the get me a female officer now. You are a lawyer. Your rights as a lawyer need to be taken away. As a lawyer, you know it don't work that way. You can request one, typically during a calm arrest. You can arrest one, but you don't have a right to that. Telling a police officer, don't touch me, after a judge told that officer to arrest you, makes me wonder, did you graduate even high school? You don't have that right in that moment. You said, these are my glasses, put them on my face. Again, you're not in charge of this situation. Don't interrupt me, she said to a judge. Don't interrupt me. That judge could have interrupted every single word that came out of her mouth, and the judge still would not be wrong in that situation. She said, I drove an hour and a half. If you've ever been in a courtroom before, if you've ever gone through that process, you know the judge don't care. You know how many dockets they have for that day? Judge don't care how long you drove here. She started screaming. She was interrupting the judge. She was demanding of the judge. And then we saw, and this is where we have to ask, where does it come from? We saw the old-fashioned hits. I'm not resisting. I'm trans. You can't do that to me. I can't breathe. Now, look, someone give me an argument how that does not come from liberal propaganda. The I can't breathe is a tagline for every individual who is a part of a minority who gets arrested nowadays, right? And by the way, as a former medic, way back in the day, if you are able to talk, you can breathe. I'm not a jerk for not helping you when you say you're choking and you're coughing, and I'm just sitting there looking at you like you're crazy. I'm not the jerk there. You are actively breathing. But what we see is someone who has seen this on the news, who has been empowered that when you say you're trans, special treatment is supposed to come on with
they think superpowers.
That's right. I can get away with whatever I want to. And if you do anything against me, it is because you're discriminatory. It's because you're hateful. And one of the phobias or one of the isms associated with that. And what we see here is when that game doesn't play anymore, it might work, and it probably will, depending on where you're at. It might work at school. It might work at work, DEI and everything in between. But in a court of law, when you have been hired, and I feel bad for whoever hired this young lady as their lawyer, and you're not doing your job, there's consequences. And the worst part is, as a lawyer, you should know, being held in contempt of court, you're probably going to get a fine. But you know, you could go to jail for that. The longest person in history, Betty Chadwick, went to jail for 16 years for being in contempt of court. And that right there is the issue. We are not teaching young individuals, I have to say adults now, because that's a grown adult lady that was right there. We're not teaching the consequences of your action. Look, you want to be trans? You want to go out there and do that? I can't stop you. I can't stop you. I can preach to you. I can pray for you, but I can't physically stop you. The law allows you to do so. But the problem is liberals have been taught that as long as you have a protected category, typically what falls under DEI, you have no consequences. You have a fail-safe, get out of jail free card. And we're starting to see what happens when people realize that's not the case.
What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. The link's in the description box below. Join us Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. And the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.